So, Dad passed away last night, and even though it doesn't come as a surprise, I'm relieved for him that he didn't have to go through the suffering that his father went through with dementia. I still hurt a great deal because it's my daddy. He was such a great man in so many ways and such a sour cuss in other ways. I mean, if I'm going to sit here and memorialize my father, I have to honor him with the truth of who he was. Dad was not perfect in any way, as none of us are, and that's okay. That's really okay. Dad was he was a good man who meant well and loved his family, and in his eyes lived a very blessed, incredible life. He really had no regrets. He really didn't. He and I talked about that a great deal. He loved Mom, even though they had their issues. He loved his girls, me and my sister, very, very much. He was very heartbroken at the reality that my sister and I struggle with our relationship and have for many years. And that's our thing, you know. We have our issues, my sister and I, and that's okay. She's her own person and I am mine, and sometimes they mesh and sometimes they don't. But I know that it really dug at Dad that my sister and I have struggled with our relationship with each other for years. And it really tugged at him because he and his sister had the best relationship. They loved each other. They were best friends. In their retirement, they actually traveled together a lot. My dad and his sister and his best friend and my mom, they did a lot of traveling together. They saw a lot of the country. They even went to Europe together. Uncle Ed didn't go to Europe, but Aunt Sally did. And now that Dad's gone, he was the last in his generation. All of his friends, well, not all of them, but many of his friends, his sister, his wife, his brothers-in-law, and his sister-in-law. Well, actually, she wouldn't really be. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But they all passed before Dad. So Dad was the last man standing. And it marks the end of a generation. Which is bittersweet for me. It's bittersweet. Because now it falls on my generation. The passing on of their wisdom. The acknowledgement of the history of the family. And what we did. And I am so very grateful that I spent the years I did studying our family, researching our family, asking questions, and documenting a lot. Because I know that my son, my nephew, and anybody else after that will have so many questions about things. And I know that in many ways I'll be able to answer a lot of them. and I take comfort in that. Dad loved racing. He did. He raced cars, and he raced motorcycles. He loved competition. Dad was so competitive. And I think that's where my sister gets it from. I don't think I'm really that competitive. I like to see people shine in what they're really good at. So there is no competition in that, I don't think. But one of the things that Dad taught me, that I want to share with you, is something he said to me before I got married. He said to me, just remember that marriage is 90% of what you give and 10% of what you receive. Everything that your marriage has to do with what you give to the marriage, not what you take from it. I wish I had really understood that to the depth that I understand it now, back then. But he was right. He gave so much to Mom. And Mom was Mom. She was a tough cookie in many ways, and yet very fragile in others. But for all of their human inequities, Mom and Dad made a success of it. They were married in 1969, and Mom passed away in 2017. So they were 47 years. I don't remember. 48. I don't remember how many years it was, but they were together I think it was 48 years. A really long time, Mom and Dad. And Dad, after Mom passed, Dad and I talked about a lot of things, and I'm grateful for the time that I had with Dad before his memory was really gone, because the reality is that I lost Dad months and months and months ago. I would have little glimpses of Dad. And in the last month, he pretty much slipped away. He couldn't track anything anymore. He got confused a lot. He didn't know who I was most of the time. I was no relation to him, or I was his wife, or I was his niece, or I was just somebody who worked at the place where he was. But he knew who his daughters were. He just didn't connect that I was one of them. And that's okay. That's okay. In the end, the last few days, Dad knew exactly who I was, and he and I talked, and we settled a lot of things. And we were able to make amends for heated tempers, sharp words. He realized that no matter what, I was totally and completely dedicated to making sure that he was cared for properly, and that I never had to worry about whether or not Dad was okay, because I knew he was safe. I did, because I made sure of that. That's the promise that I made to him. So it's bittersweet, but still very sad that my daddy's gone. And I will love him for the rest of my life, and I will cherish everything that he taught me, Um, I will hold it very dear. So I just, I want to document this time so that I remember where I was. I'm very clear within myself. I'm not confused about anything. I'm sad and grieving, but I'm also very aware of that. And I think that's really important for all of us when we're in that moment of grieving, is to be aware and conscious of the grief that we're going through, and to allow the process to come naturally. Don't force it, and don't push it away, because the grieving process is so vitally important to being healthy emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and even physically, because we are connected, mind, body, and spirit. They're all interconnected with each other, and I think that's really important to stay that connected. So, blessings to everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Cherish your family. Cherish the time that you have with them. Even if your Thanksgiving has to be done over Zoom or FaceTime or Messenger video chat, I don't care, whatever, Skype. Cherish your family. Cherish the people that you love. Let them know what they mean to you. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't ever wait.